Hello, Governor. It's been a while. So happy Friday 13th. It's kind of, I don't know, a spooky day, but we're going to bring some sparkly vibes. So I hope you all are having a great start to your weekend. I sat down to meditate today and I heard me versus me. And I got a lot of insight and downloads about subconscious programming, the ego, and the theory of relativity. So, my guides were talking about the liminal space and superposition. And they were talking about how important it is to calm the central nervous system completely down so that you kick back into a flow, an ever flow in your true divine essence. So, getting back to maybe when you were in your purest form, where there was no worries, there was no stress, which usually, I know for me, it's my childhood, right? Where I didn't want to be rushed, where there was nothing that we had to hurry to get to. That is the place you want to be. That is the superposition. That is the liminal space of all possibilities. This is where we can set an intention to quantum leap. And so I know that I think I read somewhere that Friday the 13th, on March 13th, on a Friday, happened like 10 years ago or something, and that it was significant in changes in energy and what you're putting action into and setting forward in motion. And so I pulled the card the Hanged Muse, which is equates to the Hanged Man. And it goes hand in hand with the liminal space superposition. And you see you have it kind of looks like a sun, an all-seeing eye. And I like how this one's called the Hanged Muse, using something as a muse to channel your energy, to channel your spirituality, whatever that looks like to you. Channel the God spark, the true divine essence that was gifted upon you, your gifts, your talents. I also pulled surround yourself with people you respect and trust. This is, oh my gosh, so important for frequency in your liminal space. Um, you want to get as high flying in frequency as you can to pull in your desires so that you match that frequency and can pull it in, right? It says 31. Just as you select your friends based on desirable personality traits, it is equally important to surround yourself as much as possible in work and in business with people you trust, people who radiate enthusiasm and support. These people will understand your needs, believe in your visions, and be honest with you when necessary. If you find yourself working alongside someone whose approach is at odds with yours, remain focused on the task at hand and do not let this disturb your peace or dilute your concentration. Avoid yes men, those who drain your energy, and those who make you weary. Embrace people with different ideas, opinions that make you grow, and see the value in having people around you that challenge the status quo. Gosh, so well said. I concur with this. You know, it's kind of this weird creeping sensation or vibration that kind of um starts to drown you, kind of like quicksand. It's like a parasite or symbiotic relationship, um, that just slowly, you can't tell the difference between where you end and another person begins, because we are naturally empathic. When we cross paths energetically, we have an exchange as humans. And so this is where kind of the me versus me comes in, where you are constantly meeting versions of yourself out in other people that you cross paths with unknowingly. You're subconsciously pulling in these people into your life as a mirror. And so when we're in the hanged muse, we're in this state of awareness, kind of floating. Our central nervous system is regulated. We can start to become very aware of the personality traits in another that are the common denominator that we pulled in to ourselves, right? And so when we do this, we can also do this when our nervous system is deregulated. And that's where the ego comes in and the theory of relativity. So, like, let's say you are furiously looking for a certain synchronicity or the universe to mirror back to you your belief. It will happen. And that frequency, the egoic frequency, will pull in things that reconfirm that belief to almost sometimes protect yourself. Now, protection, the ego it doesn't necessarily always have to be a bad thing. The ego, fear can protect us for sure. Fight or flight can, help us in a dangerous situation. We can act instantly and have that flight mode turned on. Um, but when we make decisions, sometimes out of fear, you can spiral downward into a choice that we are regretting, that we're looking back on when we, assess the liminal or the liminal space or the superposition that we made that decision in. We can chase that over and over and over again in regret and in fear and lack mentality. And so, how do we rise above that? How do we accurately assess the hanged muse position? And I tend to believe that this, as humans, separates us from, let's say, the reptilian mind, those that are reptilians. We always have God, the divine spark in us, to pull us out of that narrative, that timeline, and that frequency in an instant. And it's the remembering of that divine connection always to our soul, to our higher self, to our purpose. So the next card I pulled was Spiritual Guides, number 13, which is it palindrome? It's the mirror image of 13. Pretty cool. I just realized that. It says, how would you like to be more spiritually connected? Do you have any unresolved issues from the past? What magical qualities do you wish to possess? Now, in speaking about the theme, me versus me, your frequency also affects the spirit realm. So let's say you're in a low frequency, a low vibration. what you're hearing clairaudiently, maybe the visions that you're getting, you can also attract a matching frequency in the spirit realm. So let's say you're angry. You're going to pull in spirit that is angry. That's going to reaffirm a synchronicity, a sign that you're looking for. So it's really important to have your spiritual hygiene in check at this time, I would say. And it just so happens it's Friday the 13th. um, yeah. Your spirit guides are going to have personality traits that you also possess as well. And they're never ever going to force you, belittle you, control you. Um, they will patiently await your ask. So anything that's of the light is going to help your transformation spiritually. It's not going to deny you your gifts. It's not going to make you feel stuck or stagnant or at a dead end. If you do find yourself stuck, stagnant, or at a dead end, this is the perfect liminal space for transformation. And where there's a will, there's a way. And you start by slowing down. You start by getting to the root of who you are. Who am I? Start asking those deep questions. What do I desire? What did I come here for? What is my purpose? What do I see for myself in my quantum leap? The next card I pulled was Flying and Falling, number 4. It says, what do you need to be free of? Are you ready to take risks and fly solo? What do you need to feel empowered? Um, Again, going back to the theme me versus me, I believe. Now, let me just say this with a disclaimer. I'm always learning. Um, I'm always meditating and downloading like my own take on things. And you can fly and fall almost like in the same day. I've definitely done that. And it's a recognition of just how powerful we are as humans. And it's the checks and balances, I would say, of the universe and self talk, affirmations. Pay attention to how you're internally dialoguing with yourself. We as beings were made up of mostly water, and water holds memory. It holds a frequency, it's a memory keeper. And when you talk to yourselves with harsh hatred, negativity, it affects your cells, it affects the water, it affects your plasma, the cosmic intelligence of all living life, the fifth element. So, yeah, so important in changing your vibration is just how we speak, the resonance of our voice towards ourself out loud and both internally. So, this is just your reminder. How do you speak to yourself? Is it congruent with what you desire in the future? If not, start talking towards that. Point in that direction with your words. That is how you use the theory of relativity to bend time towards you. Um, I tend to think that time moves in spirals, and same with density, same with DNA. And so maybe that's why the Merkaba the vehicle, the energy system of our aura. Perhaps that's why energetically we can propel forward, but also in every direction from that space of superposition. Um, I hope that's making sense. I'm kind of just like rambling, channeling. Um, yeah. So the ego, it can protect us, but it can also make us spiral downward. We can be very stubborn and we can be very triggered in our traumas and continue to look for that same trauma subconsciously, not intentionally, which is why it's so important to work on the shadow side, taking accountability, having grace and love, maybe repentance as well. Um, Finding that your own inner healing so that you can use the Merkaba, the energy vehicle, in a way that best suits your future desires, in a way that best suits everyone around you. Where's that card? You know, when we're around people that are contagious and infectious with support and they're the cheerleaders, it kind of like magnifies it. It bends time, shortens time, collapses the old timelines. Um, and then the opposite can happen when you're surrounding yourself with lack mindset people that are only doing work that's like slave labor and slave driving. They're unhappy. You can stretch out like a rubber band that time, and it can feel like it's endless, dragging on. And then you're looking for dopamine hits, right? So today's message, I feel strongly. Oh my God. And then I just realized 13/31, and then it's Friday the 13th. Can't make this stuff up, y'all. Synchronicities, huh? Okay, so let's pull some more cards. I don't know where this reading's going. I'm just kind of going off the rip. Yeah. What collective messages do we need to hear today? So we got Strength in Reverse, Page of Inspiration. I love this one. It's so colorful. And Three of Materials in Reverse. So immediately what sticks out at me is that sometimes powering through and having a strong face or facade, maybe wearing a mask of strength, is not always conducive to ourselves, to our environment, those around us. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is have vulnerability, accountability, kindness, a softness. That's the divine feminine energy. That's where all creation is born, from the womb. We all have divine feminine energy within us. The next card, a Page of Inspiration. The clouds are immediately sticking out at me. Something about storage and listening. Listening to what you've already stored in the subconscious that you've forgotten. Allowing that room to breathe. So maybe journaling, maybe having a way to channel and express in a healthy way what you've been bottling up, the shadow that the black cat is sticking out at me, the subconscious observer that's assessing and surveying. Um, and the cat is sitting on a rock. So maybe it's time to come out from under a rock. But the biggest thing I'm hearing is listening. Don't store it away anymore. Have an outlet for it. This gives you room to breathe. This gives you room to stretch and expand and transform. All right. Three of materials in reverse. Someone's not braiding together all their talents and gifts. Possibly me. Well, I mean, it's just that's the law of when I'm reading, I'm also talking to myself, right? But I'm working on it. I've been doing quite a bit of creativity these past 10 days. That's why I haven't been posting. So fun projects are on the horizon. Yeah. And as we know, manifestation comes in threes. So that's what's sticking out at me. Braid that together, manifestation comes. Blossoming. It's inevitable. And the timelines as well. Maybe it's time to braid the shadow timeline with the now timeline and your future desire timeline. Ooh. All right, let's pull some more cards. We'll go a little deeper. I got the Queen of Wands upright, the Eight of Cups in reverse, and the Three of Wands in reverse. I'm sorry, that is... Oh, yeah, it is the Three of Wands. The Moon upright, and the Six of Swords in reverse. All right. So the message here is for someone in particular about good business sense. So immediately, if someone's watching, I feel you just embarked on a new business venture. It's a good one. Have confidence. Be magnetic. There's a helpful friend here that is kind, loyal, generous, and helping you through a situation. You can trust it. The Eight of Cups in reverse is maybe spiritual stagnation and not moving forward. So this business venture, this friend, this loyal person is going to help you move through your fears of stepping into the future, stepping into your future timeline. And the Three of Wands, I'm getting maybe you've had to kind of throw away some unrealistic plans, or you had some unrealistic desires because the planning process wasn't executed properly. I'm a big believer in making the impossible possible. So don't sell yourself short, but also slowly build with blocks that you can bite and chew and chip away at and build on top of. It's okay if you make mistakes. You go back and you constantly edit, right? It's a constant building. So plan a little bit better. And I realize that is very contradictory with me because I tend to not plan. I just do. But like I said, I'm speaking to myself as well. The moon paints a picture of illusions. It's everything that is coming up to the surface that you may be stuffed down and presented a strong exterior despite the trauma and the triggers. It's important right now. Here's your message. Here's your validation. Address it now so it doesn't haunt and follow you throughout the rest of the year. This is your sign. It's okay. The spirit realm will be supporting and ushering in a new future, a new beginning, if you address this right now. And then the last card, the Six of Swords. I'm seeing in my mind's eye escape. If you can do this, you will find the escape route. You will find a better exit to the life that you truly desire. Me versus me. You're the only one in competition with yourself. Love and light.